When I reached Mandera, unfortunately things didn't go so well. I was locked up and I slept in a cell. And before we get there, maybe let me just tell you what happened earlier on.
Okay, let's go try get the bus or the van to Mandera. Hello and welcome to day 5. And yesterday I thought the day was crazy, but today it was just something out of this world. So I woke up very early, went to the stage in Takaba. Then I took the Land Cruisers to Mandera town. Now the distance according to Google is like 220 kilometers, but the actual route the entire car took was about 300 kilometers. And the first 100 kilometers it was terrible. It was just like gravel all the way with sunken rivers, so you're just like falling, going up, falling, going up. And also after that, the second section for another like 100 kilometers, it was a good road. Then again, that is from Elwak to some town very close to Ethiopian border. But then from that town again all the way to Mandera, it's gravel. But in Mandera town there is tarmac, but that doesn't count because the journey is out of the town. So yeah, the entire journey was just hell. We started at 7:40, we arrived at 12:30, and using the Land Cruisers, you don't get any escort, so just like that. But if you're using a bus, I was told that the buses usually get escort, but now that takes almost double the time. So if you leave 7 a.m., you're going to reach Mandera, let's say 7 p.m. Yeah, again, something I wouldn't do. But yeah, it has been a crazy, crazy day. That journey was, man, my body hurts everywhere. My eyes, I think, are red because of all the dust inside my eyes. But I'm finally in Mandera, which means I have finally traveled to all the 47 counties in Kenya. So, yay, that is an achievement. The Land Cruisers that I took, the cost was 1,500 shillings, and I was seated at the back, and it's seats which are opposite each other. Basically, they're benches, so you're looking at each other. That is 1,500 shillings. The better seats at the front were 2,000 shillings. So you can imagine how tough that ride was, because it was like a very, very, very long time. Anyway, finally that I'm here, I think the plan is to go take a walk in the town. Then after that, I'm going to try to access the border, the border to Somalia, maybe then cross it if they'll allow, and also the border to Ethiopia. River Dawa is very close. According to Google Maps, it's very close. I really want to see it close range and even take some photos because I saw it on the way coming, and it's huge. It's a very, very big river, and that is what separates Kenya and Ethiopia. It touches the border, so it's quite interesting. I want to see that. And yeah, basically that is how the day has been. So time to go explore Mandera town, a place that has always just been in my mind, wanting to come and see it. Now that I'm here, I feel, I don't know, so accomplished. I feel, yeah, it's an amazing feeling. So yeah, let's go and explore it. I didn't come here to sit in the hotel room, which is a good hotel room, by the way. This is the room I have taken. Cost is 2,500 shillings. So, desk, TV, and I think this is the fanciest bed of this trip so far. I like it. It looks nice. It looks grand. Cupboard and a very, very huge toilet and bathroom. Yes. And I see it has like a corridor. Where does this go? Yeah. Not bad. Not bad at all. So you get in from this side, the balcony side. Then that is the main door. Oh, AC. Yeah, in Mandera you can survive without an AC or a fan. I love this working desk. And yes, that is the room tour of the Red Sea Resort here in Mandera town. So time to rest for a bit as usual, then go check out the Somali border, and I don't know if the Ethiopia border is so far away. We can check out both.
When we reached Mandera, the first thing I did was go to a hotel, and I booked a room. It was 2,500 shillings. The hotel name is the Red Sea Resort. I was told it was popular by a friend, and also it's just next to the police station, and also it's very central to all the places that I wanted to visit, because my plan was to just take a walk in the town. After that, go check out the Somali border the way I did with the Moyale border, and then after that also check out the Ethiopian border, and finally check out River Dawa, and also maybe do a boat ride on River Dawa. Unfortunately, that didn't go so well, because after I reached Mandera, I just booked the hotel. Then I was sitting in the hotel, and I got someone from the hotel they gave me a taxi person who could show me around. And the first stop we made was to the Somalia border. Now, you cannot cross to the Somali border. That's what the taxi guy told me. And so he just showed me where the Somali border is. There's no sign, there's nothing. It was just like, you could just see some cars and a police post, or I can say like a barrier. But it was just like a plain ground. There's really nothing much. Then we turned so that we could turn around and go back to the main town, then go to River Dawa. But then when we turned, there was a group of policemen who were seated there, and one of them just came over and checked us. All this time I didn't even have my camera. My camera was inside my bag. The small camera that I used to record videos with. It was inside my bag, and my phone was on my lap, so I wasn't using anything. Then the police told me to open my bag, and then they searched the bag, and he found my camera, because that was the only thing I was carrying, a camera and a power bank. And then he told us to go to the station, and I don't know, like things just went south from there. He started saying I'm recording them, even though they could check, and I didn't have any recordings. And yeah, so that is what happened. I was taken to the station. Then I was taken to, we went to the hotel room. They took everything of mine from the hotel room, and we went back to the station. So they searched everything, the videos that I had recorded. Luckily, they didn't delete anything. So they checked everything, my laptop, everything that I had. Yeah. Now, I understand Kenya and Somalia has always had this friction, especially along the border. And I also understand all the clashes and all the, unfortunate things that happen with the attacks. So it makes sense for them to be vigilant about, maybe newcomers going to the area. I don't think I should have been locked up. Maybe they should have just told me to not leave the hotel, and but whatever happened, happened. So part of me does understand the need for, checking people and all that, but maybe how the situation was handled, it could have been handled better. And so if you want to go to Mandera, now this is like a disclaimer, because I don't know, maybe someone was watching all these other videos and was thinking I should do this trip too. If you want to go to Mandera, according to what I was told, is first you need to go to your local chief or police post in your area where you stay. You first need to go there, then you tell them your intention of why you're traveling to Mandera. Because unfortunately, I don't think many people travel to Mandera just for, to visit like a local tourist or even just a tourist from outside. You need to first go to your local police station, police post, whatever. Register with them and tell them that you're traveling to Mandera so that they can give you a letter declaring your intentions. Then when you reach Mandera, that is the first thing you need to do also. You need to go to the nearest police station. There's only one, I think, in Mandera town. So you need to go there, then show them the letter, and also you should let them give you theirs, or I think their approval, so that you can be able to move freely. Because without that, if you're a newcomer, you might end up like me, and maybe the situation can even end up being worse. Because I was told people usually just don't visit Mandera unless they're going for work, or they're going to visit family or relatives, something like that. But for me, I didn't know anyone completely in the area. I knew no one. So if anything could have gone wrong, like people that I talked to are all in Nairobi and all these other towns. But I didn't know anyone in Mandera. So yeah, that is, I think, the disclaimer for going to Mandera. It's an unfortunate disclaimer, but because I had the ignorance, you can say, of thinking that I'm a Kenyan, so I can just travel anywhere, wherever I want. But that doesn't apply for Mandera. And so yeah, I was locked up. The next day they did interrogation just to verify everything that I was saying was correct. And then they released me, and then they took me even back to the hotel. And the hotel was kind enough to accept me back. Even they brought me breakfast from in the cell, which was a good gesture. Yeah, I went back to the hotel, but now at that point, I think my mood was just completely out. I was done. I just wanted to go back home. Yeah, so I didn't even go to River Dawa or even check out the Ethiopian border. Like when I reached the hotel the next day, that is around 3 p.m. I was arrested the previous day, maybe around 4 p.m. Then the next day I was released around, I can't even remember. I think it was around 1 p.m. Yeah, because it was after lunch, so it was around 2 p.m. I just stayed in the hotel. I didn't leave the hotel room even the whole time. I was just inside. I locked myself inside. And the next day, actually that day I had missed my flight because I had booked my flight back to Nairobi. At that point, initially I wanted to travel from Mandera and go all the way to Wajir, then from Wajir to Garissa, and then back home. When I reached Mandera, I was told I can't travel from Mandera to Wajir. Now, the buses wouldn't let me, and also the Land Cruisers which carry people wouldn't allow me. So I really didn't get the exact reason, but it was more of just a security thing because I am not from there. I don't have the, attire looking like a Somali. So if maybe there was like an attack or anything, I will have maybe put other people at risk. I don't know, I'm just speculating. I don't know if that was the exact reason why they refused, but I'm just assuming that is the case. So I had to cut my trip short, and when I reached Mandera, I booked my flight to Nairobi. But then I didn't make that flight, so I had to do the flight after they released me the next day. And on that day again, when I went to the airport, I woke up very early. By 7 a.m. I was in the airport. Flight was leaving 9 a.m. The military guys stopped me. Yes. So they took my ID again, the same thing, like where are you going, where are you from, what are you doing in Mandera, all these questions. And I was just telling them, I just came here to visit. And basically that was it, because I didn't have any other reason. They kept asking me if I know anyone. And I didn't want to lie and say that I know this and this person and I don't know anyone. So again, those guys held me up there for quite some time, and luckily the police guys who had arrested me and are the ones who again came to my, I can say, salvation because they're the ones who talked to the military guys and they released me. Otherwise, it will have been again another just wasted day or time. So yeah, again, if you're going to Mandera, if you want to, personally, I think I am done with Mandera. I don't think I'm ever going back there. Honestly, I don't think I'm doing that. To check River Dawa, I will go to Ethiopia, then go down and check out River Dawa, then go up and come back, whatever. But for me, with all that, I just don't know, I think I hit my limit, unfortunately. So yeah, that is the situation that happened. That is how I ended up paying 2,500 shillings for a hotel, but sleeping on the floors of a cell. The rice and beans in that cell was good though. But yeah, that is the situation of Mandera, unfortunately. So for now, if you really want to go there, make sure you get some documentation, even from your company or from wherever you're working. And also, making sure you have some documentation from the police so that you can have an easy, trip. In case someone stops you, you can just show them that and they will release you. Like I said again, it's understandable, the place is very volatile and there are so many attacks, so they try to make sure everybody is accountable. Like whenever someone goes there, they can, trace you so that you're not doing anything fishy. So I understand completely how the situation is handled. That is where now I'm thinking things will have been better. So yeah, the next day, finally after the military guys released me, I was able to catch my flight and I traveled back to Nairobi, which brings an end to the NorthEastern tour. So it's unfortunate I didn't go to Wajir and Garissa. Yeah, my intention last time when I went to Garissa and Wajir was to go all the way to Mandera. Unfortunately, I couldn't do that. So I still feel like I need to do those two places, because when I went, I really didn't walk around much because my focus was just going to Mandera. So I hadn't planned for those two towns. So I think maybe one day I'll do a proper tour of Garissa and Wajir again. And so that has been it until the next trip. See you in the next videos.